The moment the billionaire's private hospital wing went silent, with machines still blinking but hope completely drained, the world seemed to hold its breath. 1,000 doctors had come and gone, leaving behind stacks of reports, shaking heads, and exhausted apologies. The boy was still lying there, pale under the bright daytime sun pouring through the glass walls, his small chest rising weakly, his future already being quietly mourned by those who had everything except answers. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected miracles, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories. Because stories like this remind us that sometimes the greatest healing comes from the most unlikely hearts. The billionaire's name was Arvind Kale, a man who owned cities' worth of property and controlled industries across continents. Yet none of that power mattered as he sat helpless beside his 10-year-old son, Rayan, whose mysterious illness had baffled the finest medical minds. Rayan could not eat properly, could barely breathe without pain, and slipped deeper into weakness each passing day. The hospital was spotless, flooded with daylight, filled with elite specialists flown in at impossible costs, but the boy's condition only worsened. The sun outside shone brightly, mocking the darkness inside that room. Far away across the city's busy daytime streets lived Keshav Morin, a single father and delivery driver barely surviving paycheck to paycheck. His days were long, spent weaving through traffic under the hot sun, delivering packages to people who rarely looked at his face. His nights were even longer, caring for his young daughter, Myra, whose laughter was the only thing keeping his spirit intact. Years earlier, Keshav had lost his wife to an illness no one diagnosed in time. That loss carved a quiet wisdom into him, teaching him to listen deeply to pain, not just symptoms. On one ordinary afternoon, Keshav was assigned a delivery to the private hospital. The package was small, sealed, and marked urgent. As he entered the elite wing, daylight spilled through massive windows, illuminating expensive art and silent fear. While waiting for a signature, Keshav noticed the boy through the glass wall. Something about Rayan's posture, the way his body curled inward, struck a nerve inside him. It reminded Keshav of his wife's final days, of signs everyone else had missed. Without permission or expectation, Keshav stepped closer, his eyes scanning not the machines but the boy himself. He noticed subtle tremors in Rayan's hands, shallow breathing patterns, and the faint discoloration near his neck. His heart pounded, not with fear but certainty. Years ago, an elderly healer in his village had taught him about a rare reaction to a common nutrient overload, something modern tests often overlooked. Keshav spoke up, his voice calm but firm, suggesting a simple change that cost nothing, required no surgery, and could be done immediately. Desperation makes room for miracles. The billionaire allowed it. Within minutes of the adjustment under the same bright daytime sun, something unbelievable happened. Rayan's breathing eased. Color returned slowly to his cheeks. The monitors began to stabilize. Nurses froze. Doctors stared. Hours later, the boy was sitting up, asking for water. By evening, he was eating. By the next morning, he was laughing. The hospital erupted in disbelief. 1,000 doctors had failed, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they stopped seeing the human beneath the data. Keshav had cured the boy instantly, not with wealth or equipment, but with attention, empathy, and lived experience. Arvind Kale fell to his knees, not as a billionaire, but as a father finally allowed to hope again. Keshav expected nothing. He returned to his delivery truck, the sun high in the sky, thinking only of getting home to Myra. But his life changed anyway. The billionaire ensured Keshav never had to struggle again, yet what mattered more was the quiet respect that followed him everywhere. He was no longer invisible. Just before the ending, please comment below what this story made you feel, because your voice matters here. As the daytime sun continued to rise over the city, Rayan walked out of the hospital holding his father's hand, alive because one ordinary man cared enough to notice. If this story touched your heart, moved you, or reminded you of the power of compassion, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Life Spark Stories. Sometimes the miracle isn't medicine. Sometimes it's humanity.